I used to think my inner critic was just my high standards. That voice that told me the work wasn't ready, the timing wasn't right, I needed one more year, one more course, one more version of myself before I could put anything out into the world. I called that discipline. I called it excellence. But I'll admit something today. I've spent years sabotaging my own success because I was terrified of being seen. And I don't think I'm the only one. Here's what that actually looked like for me. I turned down opportunities that could have changed the entire direction of my life. Not because they were wrong for me, because they were right for me. And that terrified me more. A promotion I didn't apply for. A relationship I didn't let get close. A project I sat on for 2 years because it wasn't polished enough to show anyone. Every time I had a reason. A good one. Logical, defensible, even admirable sounding. I just want to do it right. I don't want to put out something half-finished. I'm still preparing. But underneath every one of those reasons was the same quiet sentence, running like a subroutine I never examined. If they see the real effort and it's still not enough, I won't survive that. So I didn't wait for a better version of the work. I waited for a version of myself that felt safe to look at. That version never showed up. Because it isn't a stage you arrive at. It's a story you keep telling to stay in the room you already know. We've been sold perfectionism as a virtue, as if it's just ambition with better manners, high standards, a refusal to settle. We wear it like a badge. I'm just a perfectionist. The same way people used to say, I'm just a workaholic, like it's a flaw you can be proud of. But watch what perfectionism actually does in a life, not what it claims to do. It doesn't make the work better. It makes the work later, or smaller, or invisible. It doesn't raise the standard. It raises the exit cost of ever being judged, so high that you quietly decide not to enter the arena at all. Real, high standards ship. They finish the draft, send the application, walk into the room, and let the outcome be what it is. Real high standards are willing to be seen failing at something worth doing. What I had wasn't that. What I had was a very well-dressed form of hiding. A committee inside my head that convened before every act of visibility and always, always found a reason to adjourn. That's not a standard. That's a checkpoint that never lets anyone through. So if it isn't really about quality, what is it about? For most of us, it's about exposure. Somewhere along the way, a classroom, a family dinner, a relationship, a moment we can probably still picture exactly. We learned that being fully seen came with a cost. Maybe it was ridicule. Maybe it was silence where you expected support. Maybe it was just one offhand comment that landed at exactly the wrong age, in exactly the wrong moment, and calcified into a rule. Don't let them see the effort. If they see the effort and still don't approve, there's nowhere left to hide. So the mind does something almost merciful, in a twisted way. It builds a filter and calls it a standard. If the work is never finished, it can never be rejected. If the opportunity is never taken, it can never expose you as not enough. Perfectionism isn't about the work at all. It's a bodyguard for the self, and it's doing exactly what it was hired to do. The tragedy is that the bodyguard doesn't know the difference between a threat and a life. It will protect you from failure and from the relationship, the promotion, the finished book, the honest conversation, with the same indiscriminate force. It cannot tell the difference between danger and becoming. And the cost is not abstract. It's not a philosophical loss. It's specific. It's the version of you that exists on the other side of the opportunity you turned down, who never got to exist, because you protected a self that was never actually in danger, only uncomfortable. It's the relationship that could have deepened if you'd said the true thing instead of the safe thing. It's the years spent preparing, which, if we're honest with ourselves, is often just fear wearing the costume of diligence. Comfort zones don't announce themselves as prisons. They come dressed as sensible decisions, as not the right time, as I just need to refine it a little more. That's what makes them so effective. A prison you agree to stay in doesn't feel like captivity. It feels like prudence. So I want to stop calling it perfectionism. I think that word has done us a disservice. It lets us keep admiring the cage. Call it what it actually is, a prison of our own making, not built by other people's expectations, not built by circumstance, built brick by brick, out of a fear we never questioned, using standards we never actually held ourselves to. Because if we had, we would have finished the thing, sent the thing, said the thing, and let it be judged. The walls of that prison are made of almost ready, of just a bit more polish, of when I feel more confident. And the door, this is the part worth sitting with, the door was never locked from the outside. Here's what's helped me start walking out of mine, and I say start, because this isn't a one-time decision, it's a practice. First, separate the standard from the fear. Ask honestly, is this next revision making the work better, or is it just delaying the moment someone else sees it? Those are two completely different sentences that feel identical from the inside. Second, let something be seen before it's ready, on purpose. Small stakes at first. Not because sloppiness is a virtue, but because the nervous system needs evidence, real, lived evidence, that being seen imperfectly doesn't end you. Third, notice that the opportunity in front of you right now is not a referendum on your worth. It's just an opportunity. You're allowed to take it as the person you are today, not the finished, fearless person you're still waiting to become. The door was never locked. It was just easier for a long time not to check. If any of this landed, I'd start with one honest question this week. What have I been calling a standard that's actually a fear? Sit with that. Then take one step, small, visible, imperfect, toward the door. If this resonated, subscribe for more conversations on relationships, inner work, and the stories we tell ourselves to stay safe. And I'll see you in the next one. Remember, connect with yourself and others. Reflect on your experiences and choices. Repeat the process, because growth is not a destination. It's a way of living.